this must be the place. I've been really. I'll talk about it in a bit.
We're live now. We got it.
Yeah, let's go hit our intro and get into this.
Let's do it.
Let's go live. All right, we're live. We're fully live.
I love this diving right in thing you're doing now, Tom. Just the last two episodes, just like no foreplay, just going in.
No frills. We got drinking to do, and we have a limited time to do it. So let's get into it. Let's get to drinking. We'll do real quick. I'm Tom.
And I'm Dan.
No frills at all.
No frills.
I will say, guys, give us a review on Apple Podcasts. Give us a comment on Spotify. Take a couple minutes, right? We like reading them. We didn't get to read it last week, so
we got to go to the reviews. We've got quite the bit, and I'm sure our guest has listened to a couple episodes, but we have a bit with the bit of the podcast, Mr. Stevie Johansson.
Stevie leaves a comment on every episode, and we like to read it. He did get a bit snippy on the comment for last week's episode, but the previous one from Same as the Tall Bottle. The Ryan baiting is elite. Live music will never happen at Warwick Farm. Here, hold my giant concert platform. Also, as I'm writing this comment, we stand on the precipice of an event that will either ruin or make the next year of our lives. It made it. When this quote gets read during the next pod, I hope everyone in Philly is floating on the wave of the last victory Monday of 24-25 season. God bless BBF pod. God bless 26. God bless Jordan Mailata, and go fucking Birds.
Man, he got real buzz towards the end of that one.
Yeah, he was drinking in the carpool line or at the post office, wherever he was checking in there.
Yeah, wherever he was checking beers in, whether it be in the elementary school parking or school pickup line or the post office.
And then so for last week's episode with Not Pizza, he said, while I am upset my weekly comment wasn't read and the guests weren't properly introduced. Were they not properly introduced?
They were.
I thought I did a proper introduction.
We did.
Either way, the post Super Bowl fit for both Tom and Dan were sick, the good kind. Go Birds, drink Not Pizza.
Hell yeah.
So we got a lot of plugs there. Yeah. So leave a comment. We'll read it on air.
We'll read it on air.
Yeah, makes our week.
Speaking of a guest last week, I mean, we are continuing this trend of back-to-back guests. It's been a while.
It's like pandemic time, man.
Yeah, it's like a pandemic time where all these brewers just had time on their hands and are like, hey, let's come hang out.
So we are joined tonight.
February, guys.
Slowly, February. We're getting out of dry January, so the wheels are starting to turn.
So we're joined by the Director of Brewing Operations and partner at New Trail Brewing, Mike LaRosa. What's up, Mike?
Thanks for having me, guys.
Good friend of the pod.
Go Birds.
Go Birds.
I know it's 8:30. You didn't really have to stay at the brewery this late, man. You could have been doing this.
I honestly came back. So I got 3 dogs at the house. I got 2 stepkids. It's just a loud environment there. And I was like, you know what? It's a live stream.
The brewing facility is somehow quieter.
Yeah, it is. Well, so we do run 24 hours. What I'm waiting for is that one of my overnight brewers who hasn't seen me, he only sees me when something goes wrong, really, when he calls me. And he's like, dude, I don't know what's going on. And I'll stop in. I'm waiting for him. He's like, right in my line of sight. When he walks through the door, he's like, dude, what the fuck?
The gentle hum of the glycol right now.
Yeah.
It's okay. Last week we had our guest do it from on top of his dryer in his laundry.
Oh yeah.
Oh really? Who's
to
that?
avoid his 3 kids. That was Luke O'Brien over at Sly Fox. He does the pizza.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was I think that was a first. We had
I wanted to ask the
Yeah.
entire episode because he had an ironing board hanging behind him. I'm like, I swear to God, he's right on his dryer right now doing this.
Yeah, there was no windows. It was yeah, classic laundry room.
But yeah, I mean, Mike commits to the podcast with the background here, though.
It's pretty, guys. I figured you'd enjoy it. You know,
I like it. I really enjoy it.
the
It's
soft got a spunding valve happening right next to me right now.
Ooh,
what's in the little guy behind you?
That's a yeast spring. So it's currently empty, but sometimes yeast.
Okay.
It's like the
wheels. You can kind of you might be able to see
like a
that.
brewery. It's like a brewery droid, just like rolls around on the.
It's bigger. It's probably bigger than it looks. Like
Yeah. Okay.
it's
Oh yeah, it was the.
Oh damn! Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. From the perspective, it was like R2D2.
No. Well, I mean, it's probably a little bit bigger than R2D2, but you know.
It's like when they do the behind the scenes of how they shot Elf and made him look, bigger than everybody else.
Yeah, exactly. Well, the tanks behind me kind of dwarf it. So
honestly, I forget like all the time how big of an operation you guys have over there. Like, what are you guys running on? That is impressive.
So what's behind me on my right side, they're 120 barrel tanks. So that'd be 240 half barrels. So they tower over me right now. And then behind me on my left side, like these guys over there, those are 240 barrel tanks. So that'd be 480 kegs. So
good lord.
Yeah, a lot of broken heels, a lot of crisp. So.
You got us with the latter.
Yeah.
Actually, you got me with both, man. Broken Heels is like an official like post snowboard beer with my crew. Like everyone, like they're all Broken Heels right after the hill.
Nice.
But before we get too deep into the brewing talk, we missed it last week. We didn't do a vibe song for 2020 vibes. Mike is officially the first guest to bring a song to the podcast in I don't know how long.
Oh, it's been a while. We used to have like the running themes, and no one really brought a song. And when we got your email, I was stoked. I'm like, and he's even bringing songs to this. Look at this guy.
Hell yeah.
And this is it's a super vibey song. I picked this one out of the two because it goes with like what I've been listening to lately, so it kind of flows into the theme that we're going with. But yeah,
it's just your world and we're living in it, Tom.
You're getting the hang of this.
Steering the vibe podcast says. Steering the vibe ship over there.
But yeah, it's 2020 vibes. We're the best friends podcast in the world, and we're starting right now.
It's okay, I know nothing's wrong. Nothing. Oh, I got plenty of time.
Oh yeah.
Oh, you got light in your eyes. And you're standing here beside me. I know the passing of time.
Dude, I gotta say, like, when is this genre of music going to be looked at by like the younger generation as yacht rock? Like, I feel like I keep listening to all this alt pop, and I'm like, I feel like our parents would have been in the 80s when like yacht rock was a thing, and they were jamming out to it, but they weren't calling it yacht rock.
I don't know. So like, I've got two. Do you guys have kids? I don't remember.
Yeah.
So, we're all kidded up here.
Sweet. So I have a 17-year-old stepson and an almost 9-year-old stepson, and I've got both of them addicted to the Talking Heads.
Oh, that's awesome.
Like, I mean, that's a great one to get into.
Oh yeah,
so like,
absolutely.
So the 17-year-old, he shares a lot of similar music interests to me, and I think by design, like I drove him a lot to school, so we were listening to a lot I don't know, whatever I felt like listening to, which is Talking Heads. I got him into like Tame Impala. I shaped his like
Yeah.
hip hop view as well. I got him on lo-fi, jazz, all
Nice.
sorts of stuff. But he's got a pretty diverse taste in music. But my 9-year-old, when I started listening to Talking Heads with him a couple of years ago, probably like 3 or 4 years ago, he would request these. Like, can we listen to the one with all the heads on the screen? I was like, yeah, Talking Heads, absolutely, buddy, absolutely.
Oh, that's
Um,
that's awesome.
yeah.
Like every time I listen to like the Talking Heads, or like we were talking about Future Islands a couple episodes back,
Oh,
and
nice.
like I always get the same vibe that like I feel like my parents or like, you know, people in that generation got when they were listening to like Christopher Cross and like
Yeah.
stuff like that. Just that like steady rhythm, like just like positive, like kind of like, ah, man, this feels nice to listen to.
I have
Just
to
a
say with that
smooth
with,
bass line.
I was gonna say with that cover, it's the harmonies are so good. Like, and
Yeah.
it's just
Oh,
got, like,
absolutely.
super upbeat. Like, you know, covers specifically with the Talking Heads can be like beat with like a dead horse. Like they're just so done so many times, but
Mhm.
that's a really solid cover. So
Yeah.
what the sure I
Sure,
think it's
sure.
the
Yeah, sure. This is the place. Yeah, I've been getting back into the Talking Heads, and I was thinking about the other night, like like the 80s, like once you get out of like that, outside of the like poppy 80s stuff, like that kind of got like kitschy. Um, the late 80s, like mid late 80s stuff, like deep cuts are some of the best. One of the, I would say for me, besides like the 90s grunge era, is probably the best era of music. Like The Cure is a top 3 band for me. Like Disintegration's an unbelievable album.
Yeah.
Talking Heads, In
Yeah.
Excess, like a lot of those, like a lot of those bands, like some of the stuff there was amazing.
Yeah, I was a
think,
huge Replacements fan. Like from those like 80s into like the 90s, like the Replacements like shaped punk rock for me too. And they weren't even considered like punk back then either. Like I felt like they kind of shaped my view.
Yeah, I was just about to comment on Tom stuff. Like I think the Talking Heads were a bit ahead of their time.
Mhm.
Yeah,
I agree.
absolutely.
And
And the thing for me, like I was saying, I've been getting back into Talking Heads. Like you think of like a couple songs, but you don't realize how deep their catalog is. And you like start listening to songs, you're like, oh my God, yeah, that is the Talking Heads. Like
Yeah.
you forget that that's them.
well, for the time, like just super experimental too.
Oh, yeah.
And obviously kooky.
Mhm.
There's a great Netflix mockumentary about them. It was with Fred Armstead and Bill Hader.
Yeah.
I want to say it's the last episode, or it's like a 2-part episode at the end of that first season. And I laughed the whole fucking time. It was so good.
I've seen clips from that. As soon as I was like, is this the Fred Armisen one? Yeah.
What is it called? Documentary Now, maybe? I'm looking it up.
Yes,
Yeah, it was the
yes.
old,
Documentary now was the Fred Armiston.
Yeah, it was on that. What channel was that on back?
Was that IMC?
IFC, yeah.
IFC, yeah.
Yeah, it was on IFC. It was Documentary Now. And yeah, they
Documentary
did a Talking
Now,
Yeah,
Yeah,
they did a
sure.
Talking Heads one. Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Yeah. The
clips
final
are hilarious.
transmission.
Yeah, it's episode 6 and 7 on the first season. So
Yeah.
if anybody's curious.
But yeah, let's I mean, let's get into, and I love a good cover, and they can appreciate someone nailing a good cover, like, and not just
Absolutely
doing a
nailing it,
straight
yeah.
up like this is a cover, we're just doing like a little bit different. Like that was, I feel like that was like taking their sound and putting it at like Talking Heads with it.
Yeah,
Yeah, for sure.
absolutely.
All right, but let's get into this. Dan, we're starting with 24/7, yeah?
Yes, sir.
All right. So we got a couple beers to do with Mike here. He graciously sent us a little mixed 6-pack. We're gonna be starting with
Awesome swag too, by the way.
yeah.
Love it.
Oh, sweet. What swag do they send you?
I got the hat on.
Oh, nice.
Great quality hat. I love this new style hat with the big old mesh holes in the back.
Yeah, it's like a modern day trucker hat.
Oh, nice.
I was wearing that all day Sunday. I felt like I was going out and going fly fishing later when I was wearing it. I was wearing that and like a vest and like brown boots. I looked at the hat and went, I'm straight out of Eddie Bauer with this bad boy on. Let's go.
This hat is definitely going to get some use on the course. I definitely in my club heavily features broken heels. So
Oh yeah.
we'll be having some broken heels on the golf course this year.
Nice.
All right, so let me bring up 24/7.
Yeah, I mean, while we're getting that up, yeah, if anything you want to add about 24/7 while we get this cracked here.
Absolutely. So 24/7 is going to be a year-round brand for us. We just started soft launching it into our hoppy variety pack. So that's the variety pack that 12-pack that we do. It's usually got broken heels, double broken heels. It's had a Citrus Summit in the past in it.
Yeah.
Shit, what else has been in
You had that other West Coast. It was like a purple can, I think.
Yeah. Oh, Replenish. Yeah, Replenish used to be in that pack. Either way, so we try to refresh that pack a couple times a year, maybe twice a year or so. And right now it's got 24/7. Eventually, 24/7 is going to launch 12-ounce can format in a 15-pack.
Ooh.
Oh, perfect.
I love the new Trail 15-pack.
Yeah, we just split a 15-pack of amber right before this.
Baby Ivy.
Hell yeah. I can give you the date too if you just give me a second. I'll look at my calendar. I want to say it's there it is. We'll start sending it out around March 24th in the 15-pack. So
nice.
You could reasonably start to see it in stores around April 1st. But either way, 24/7, 4.72% alcohol.
Mm-hmm.
Catch my old joke there.
I like it.
Yeah. I mean, like, you got to do what you got to do. It's brewed with oats. It's got citron mosaic in it. What's cool about 24/7 is that we use a thiolized yeast in it, which I don't know how much you guys talk about thiols in yeast. But
been hearing a lot of talks about it. We talked to Ryan at Warwick about thiolized yeast before.
What a handsome man, Ryan.
That's a generous statement.
You can tell him I said so. So either way, thiols kind of like take the or thiolized yeast, I should say, find free thiols, which is a chemical compound that you can find in basically any sort of food, extract it out, and when it ferments it makes it more tropical. I found with 24/7, the goal was to make it crushable but still full. Like it's not super thin, like you're drinking nothing.
Yeah.
And yeah,
let's do it.
Let's get it.
Are we doing it?
Yeah. Oh yeah, let's do it.
3, 2, 1.
Oh,
premature calculations. All right.
Yeah, I heard it, dude. He was like, "Let's dive in." I went, "Oh, absolutely."
Happens to the best of us. I'm going to pour it into this lovely.
It's my first time, guys. Sorry.
Is it yours? Please say.
Honestly, it's actually your second time.
You're right.
I'm going to pour it into this beautiful new Trail glass that was sent over to us. Love
the party cup shape. I love this.
Wow. I mean, the aroma that just came right off of that is super tropical.
Yeah, I love this. Honestly, I was making early predictions with some friends of mine, just because New Trail, like crisp. You talked about it on the course, Tom. I talk about it on the trails with like mountain biking. They're like, this is going to be easily in the cooler for, this spring and summer coming into mountain biking season. Early prediction, but I can't wait to try this beer.
Yeah. Dan, Mike, cheers.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers, man. Absolutely.
Yeah. This is and we've talked about it a ton. Like I have a very distinct spot in my heart for session IPAs. Like if I go to a brewery and I look at the board and there's a session, I'm ordering it. I love a nice crushable hazy. That is, and the first thing I really look to is how much flavor is packed into this session. Like, did they just skimp and do a lower ABV version of another beer? And this is, I mean, obviously it's light. You can tell it's light, but it's a ton of hop flavor.
So we spent a few years perfecting low ABV IPA. We still do at our anniversary, a bunch of collabs every year. And for the last 3 or 4 years, we've done collabs specifically in lower ABV beers. So last year was with Old Thunder out in Pittsburgh. I don't know if you know those guys. We did a
Heard them.
mini cold IPA. With Dancing Gnome, we did a table pale ale, and with Trogs, we did a small IPA as well. So we've spent a few years kind of just like working through how to make really small beer taste like really full beer, and 24/7 is kind of like the perfect culmination of that. And I think it's a matching of the grist ratio to the yeast, as well as kind of balancing out the hops in both the Whirlpool and the kettle editions, as well as the dry hop. And man, I'm just super stoked on 24/7. It's probably my favorite beer that we're doing for our innovations this year.
And I think, I mean, obviously you can't go wrong with Citra and Mosaic. It's like we've talked about the buddy cop video. It's a buddy cop movie of hops.
The Riggs and Murtaugh.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the McConaughey and Jessica Parker of hops. They complement each other so well in the rom-coms.
Okay. I was wondering where that was going.
We've brought.
I'm gonna let Tom finish this one. I want to see where it's going.
I think the thiolized hops or the thiolized yeast is the star here, because I think it's really taking the Citra and Mosaic flavor and knocking it up into that like really extra tropical area.
Well, so that's sort of the fun thing about the thiolized yeast, is that it's pulling different compounds out of the fermentation process that you wouldn't necessarily get with like our house ale strain, just using Citra Mosaic in it. If I can divert you guys for 2 seconds, my 8-year-old stepson is watching the live stream right now. My fiance is texting me, and he's been trying to say hi. If you guys can say hi to him, that would rock his world.
Hey, what's up,
his name's Lincoln.
Hey, what's up, Lincoln?
Yeah, what's he watching through? Do you know what he's watching through?
I think on Facebook, if I had to bet. I think that's what he's watching on.
They can leave comments if they want. The comments actually we can pull them up. Yeah, if they comment on the live stream, we can pull up the comments. It actually gets funny sometimes. We'll get random Twitch viewers that'll come in. What was the dude's name? Mr. Tiny Corn Dog?
Yeah, Mr. Tiny Corn Dog.
Or some random guy. He comes in like, we'll be like midway through an episode, all of a sudden this guy will come in with the weirdest fucking questions. I mean, freaking questions. I'm sorry your son's watching.
No, we both curse like sailors. He's used to it.
Perfect.
I told him that he has to pay taxes until he can, in order for him to curse. So anyway, I'm really excited how the thiolized yeast interacts with the Citra and the Mosaic in here, and it just it does a bang up job.
Absolutely. I love like what thiolized yeast and like I guess a couple of years ago when Phantasm powder was big, like what they do in the fermentation process and pulling these flavors out of like the brewing that you wouldn't get from just like doing your standard like hazy IPA hop additions.
For sure. So I don't know how much you guys have gone down the thiol rabbit hole, but you add hops during the mash.
Yeah.
and the mash and that process, it just creates more free thiols for them to interact with. So we don't add Citra and Mosaic there. We actually add, I want to say it's Cascade or Crystal. It's like an old school American hop addition there because it's just really high in free thiols. So it just downstream it makes better beer.
I'm really excited for you to release this in the 15 pack, because I'm just imagining going in and getting a 15 pack of crisp, a 15 pack of 24/7, and just being set for a month.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was saying. When I think right before this episode, my plan with Tom was to pregame with the Amber Crisp. And I told him, I'm like, hey, I'm going to go buy a 15. Do you want to split it? Because, man, it's going to be tough for me to finish this at home. Man, 15 packs back in the day. Just cruise right through them, man. In there. in your, we're staring down the barrel of 40 right now, Tom and I, and 15 pack stays in the fridge for a long time.
Jeez.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely can imagine like that would be. I feel like most of our listeners are in the same boat as us. Like it's like crispy and hazy. It's like, you drink a couple of crispies and then you're like, man, I could really go for a hazy.
Little
And
juice boy every now and then.
yeah, having a low ABV, full bodied hazy with like full flavor, being able to crush a couple of them rather than just having like one 7.6% hazy at night is
So
great.
that I was gonna say that's been my MO, man. Like I've always liked having a few drinks. Like you tell your wife or your significant other you're going out for a drink. It's they know that means 1 to 3 drinks.
Yeah, that's 3. That's
And
3 baseline right there.
I'd much rather have 4.72% beers than 7% beers.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That being said, I still want to, when I'm at home or doing it, like have the singles and doubles. But like if I'm having a couple, I want to have a couple.
Yeah, exactly. This is the type of beer you want to have after, like, we'd always talk about like the post mow lawn, the post like mowing the lawn kind of beer, or
pool beer, beach beer.
Yeah, pool beer, beach beer, golf. Yeah, like after the course for Tom over there, after mountain biking or snowboard, like having a couple. And this, I'm hoping that 24/7 starts making the rounds. Like I don't want it to dig in too much to the Broken Heels, but man, if I see 24/7 start to pop up in as an alternative, I'm going with the 24/7. Broken Heels will always have a special place in my heart, but man, I love low ABV.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, and we started getting after this earlier in the year. I would say earlier in like 2024, we started shifting like, man, getting these low ABV beers is great. Just being able to crush a couple of them. And the big shift back to 12-ounce cans has been huge too. I feel like a lot more, you're seeing a lot more breweries make that shift to 12-ounce offerings, right? I think that was like kind of the theme of 2024 is like low ABV, 12-ounce cans. I think that was more, I think, palatable for a lot of people.
Yeah, I mean, 16 ounces are still a pretty significant part of what we do here. I would say that like without pulling my actual data, I want to say it's close to like 40 or 50% of our cans are still 16-ounce cans that are walking out the door here. So it's still significant. The 12-ounce has made a significant comeback. I mean, I can remember 7 years ago when we started the brewer, or even before when I was working with Tired Hands and Kane, like 16 ounce, like if you were in a 12 ounce, like get the fuck out of here. Like, we're not, nobody wants a 12 ounce beer. We all want 16 ounce cans. So
yeah, and it's kind of what I meant with where it was like we had so many of these years where it was just 16 ounce or get the fuck out. And now you're seeing more of that, the 12-ounce cans being offered. Like, Ryan at Warwick, who said, I'll never make a 12-ounce beer. And here he is putting everything out in 12-ounce cans now.
Oh, is he? I had no idea. The last I think I was mostly 16-ounce cans there.
Yeah, and he never said he was going to do live music at his brewery, and look at him having country music concerts. This guy, he's a walking contradiction.
That's all Timmy.
Yeah, I like this. I like this shift. Do you see a lot of your sales in the variety pack?
It's one of the top performing packages we offer is the Hoppy Variety Pack. I wouldn't say that it does overly well at the brewery, but out in the market it does pretty well for us. 19.2s perform pretty well. I mean, we just try to bop and weave and stay with the trends. So I'm happy, you know, like 15
Yeah.
packs are on the rise, so we're happy to put, you know, 24/7 into a 15 pack. I don't know that I could get away with that with a Broken Heels, but with a 24/7 at that lower ABV, that totally makes sense to me.
Yeah, Hoppy Variety Pack was actually one of the like 12 packs recently, or variety packs, that I've actively sought out. Like, it's been
Oh,
a while
really?
since I've gotten the variety packs, you know, when the 4-pack 16-ounce can like revolution over the last, like you said, like 7 years ago, when that hit, like I was getting a ton of 4-packs, stopped getting like the old school variety packs. And then you guys did the Hoppy Variety Pack. I'm like, these are 12-ounce cans. These are all the beers I usually drink, and in one package. Like, it was a perfect for a hophead when I saw that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you remember pre Hoppy Variety Pack for us, we did the Expedition Pack.
Yep.
Yeah.
Those were those
Yeah,
four.
the collaborations.
It's coming back, guys. We're doing it
Oh,
again.
man,
Yes.
that was an
Yeah.
awesome venture. I completely forgot about that, but that was
I
great.
was so exhausted after that 5 months.
I
'Cause we were
felt like
doing
you
a
guys
boom,
really
boom,
like.
boom, boom. Yeah,
I was like, you guys really went there.
we just we went at it hard on collaboration.
Good Lord, man. I actually a year ago just cracked one of the Russian Imperials you did with 2SP. I still had a can of it.
Spilled ink.
Yeah, Spilled Ink. I cracked
Spilled
it
ink.
like about a year ago, and it's still like, it was super smooth, which was nice, because Russian Imperials, like fresh, are just like, I love them, but man, they are harsh.
No,
Yeah.
people chiming in. Expedition Pack.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
man.
it.
I mean,
That's funny.
they were great, and yeah, the Spilled Ink was super.
So I'm
smooth.
limiting myself to 1 a year. So
Okay.
you guys get 1 a year.
Yeah, I'll probably aged you like a U.S. president doing all these collabs, man.
Dude, it was like right on the heels of like everything sort of soft opening back up during COVID. We were just like, let's do it.
Yeah,
Let's see everybody.
Yeah, you guys didn't soft open at all with that.
Yeah, no, I know. Hard launched right into that. So.
What I liked about the Expedition Pack was like you did everything. You did like bigger name breweries, and then you did like the smaller name. Like I remember the one you did with Attic was great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Laura and Todd. They're great people. Bogdan
Yes.
the brewer.
But yeah, Bogdan from
Trillium.
North Coast, was it North Coast he was with too?
Yeah,
Trillium, I want to say, is where he cut his teeth, but you might be right. He might have been North Coast.
He was
before that.
he was at North Coast for a little bit, because I remember
you lost your mind about Old Rasputin, right?
Yeah, I mean, Old Rasputin is like,
you were like, excuse me.
I was like, you did Old Rasputin? He was like, yeah. Oh my god,
he's such a nice dude.
Yeah.
And Laura and Todd, who own Attic, are like,
they're so great
people.
Yeah, and that was like right on the heels of them getting like a GABF too, and getting them in there. Like I mean, they had themselves a pandemic year, man. GABF winners, like just going heavy into it.
For sure.
Yeah,
I haven't established who's in the Expedition Pack this year, but we're getting close on who I can announce.
Oh, nice.
So.
That's awesome. Dan, you ready to make a switch to was it Trailmaker?
Yeah,
yeah,
Trail Marker. I'm gonna finish up this last sip here, but I wanted to highlight because you said you didn't want to sacrifice on taste, and I gotta say, I don't think you sacrificed on, and it's not an indicator of a good beer, but it definitely helps on the social media. The color on this is just beautiful. Like my light up here doesn't do it justice. Like I can't.
Oh, you have it in a glass, don't you?
Yeah, I have it in a glass, and I mean, it looks like great. Like this is like
I
a
thought you were
very
talking
good.
about the can. I was like, yeah, the can is real pretty. Thanks.
No, I was gonna say the color of the beer itself. Like it's never like you can't say like a color is going to indicate how a beer tastes, but on social media when it looks like that bright color and just really pops, this you definitely get like almost that full opaqueness of a normal IPA with a session IPA, and that's something that's tough to get with these sessions because of how light they are.
For sure. Yeah, like I said, I spent years trying to figure it out. So it was a super long soft launch to get to this point.
All right, let's I'm gonna grab Trail Marker here.
Yep, I got Trail Marker right here. Oh man, I love the old school New Trail logo still on like on these cans too. Like still doing the boot print. It's one of my favorites.
Yeah, I like the so we got like the sticker, a bunch of stickers, and I like the along with like the hats, the style that you guys are going with, like this very like minimalistic, outdoorsy. I mean, it's all obviously always been kind of
It speaks to me, man.
Yeah, it's great
For sure.
marketing. Great marketing. So we're gonna switch over to Trail Marker, West Coast IPA, which obviously, come on, we're big fans, West Coast.
Yeah, we're pro West Coast. I mean, that's where I cut my teeth as a hophead. West Coast American IPAs, but you know the IBU wars where everyone just had to make them as piney as possible. Like I was in those trenches, and I love a West Coast IPA.
Me too. Yeah, I mean, what was the first West Coast you remember having?
First West Coast I ever had was Racer 5 from Bear Republic.
Fuck yeah, great beer.
Yeah. Yeah, that was like the first official West Coast. You know, you had your like heavy American IPAs on the East Coast, like the Dogfish Heads, the 60, 90, and like 120. But like having that first like true, like where it was like kind of like them, but different was that, you know, having that Racer 5. I was like, this is where I need to be right now with IPAs.
And then discovering Torpedo.
Yeah, Torpedo. Yeah, well, Sierra Nevada Pale Ale and like Torpedo and like it's stuff. Like I always had a soft spot. Like anytime we talk about pale ales, you know, there's a hard line between you got your hazy ones and you got your West Coast pale ales. And yeah, Sierra Nevada was also always one I held in high regard as well.
What was the first one you remember, Tom? Your first West Coast style IPA?
I mean, probably Racer 5 as well. Like that was a big one for us. Like drinking it at Bistro on Bridge in Phoenixville. They always
Bistro on Bridge had it. And they had it on draft, and so did Railroad Street.
Yeah,
had it on draft near us as well. Man, such a divey bar that had such a great beer list. I remember I just drank Racer 5 and this is going to get hyper local, but Philadelphia Brewing Company's Kenzinger was the other beer there. And like, man, just killing Kenzinger and Racer 5 every time I went there.
I was never a big IPA guy until kind of recent. It was probably one of your beers that kicked me into like the haze craze. But like I was never a big like West Coast guy until more recently. Like I always made fun of Dan for drinking his cat piss beers.
I was just sitting over there with my piney cat piss beers, and Tom was over there with like
drinking a Dale's 1050.
Yeah, you had like an old Rasputin. You had
Jesus Christ.
This guy was drinking stouts in the summer like it was like a thing.
Motor oil.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, both great beers, but my God.
I really kicked it off, and I remember sending a picture to Dan. I got flannel weather.
Yeah.
In
one of the first iterations of it too.
Yeah, the red
and black Nelson, one, Nelson Sauvin.
Yeah, I was out in Western PA on business, and I always tried to like find like a nice like beer bar. I was in Uniontown, Pennsylvania, which the only thing there is just depression. But I found this.
What's the name of the bar in Uniontown that you were at?
I don't even remember. I was just like looking like anything other than like a Subway. And I went
Subway, fentanyl, and you got a flannel weather.
And I sat down and I was
Subway, Math Fresh.
It's funny because I sat down and I was like, oh, they have a nice beer list, and I wanted a front side lip slide from Pizza Boy. I was like, all right. And they were like, oh, that just tapped. And I was like, oh, flannel weather sounds cool. Yeah, flannel weather sounds cool. Give me one of those. And I took a sip and I was like, holy shit, Dan.
Yeah, he texted me immediately. Like, I felt like the evil emperor. Let's get a crack at this. But I was just like, yes, going to the hoppy side.
All right, 3, 2, 1.
I was so happy to hear it when he said it.
I have a picture somewhere of it.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, it's probably in my iCloud somewhere from one of our past conversations. Oh boy, look at this. This is a clear one here.
Clear boy, hopefully.
Oh yeah. I mean, you guys are be spunding over there. It better be clear, right?
Yeah, spun the lot. I mean, everything sort of spuns, I suppose. No,
Yeah.
I've got a centrifuge sitting around the corner from me.
Oh, you got
so,
that too.
Yeah.
Ooh, this is a beautiful looking
Yeah.
beer, man.
Nice and
That
clear.
That clear,
Yeah, great.
clarity's good.
Yeah, great clarity on it.
Yeah.
All right, gentlemen, cheers.
Yeah, cheers.
Oh yeah. Nice. Reeling in the juice flavor from 24/7, going back to a classic West Coast IPA.
Yeah, really sharp across the tongue there comparatively.
That's why I said when we were talking about beer order and we were like,
Yeah.
what we want to start with. And you know, my front of house instincts started kicking in. They're like, oh, what should I have first? And I'm like, well, we're not going to go to the West Coast first because every single beer after that's going to taste like it. And yeah, the hazy session going into this, perfect. Like we're hitting that cruising altitude now of hops. So let's.
Yeah. So you got Centennial, Amarillo, and Simcoe in here, which is it's like the holy
And
triumvirate of West Coast.
CTZ too, or Columbus Tomahawk Zeus.
Okay.
Yeah,
as well.
CTZ is a
And then-
big one for West Coast IPAs.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Simcoe's the dominating hop in this. I select hops every year for what we purchase, and I specifically select for cat piss Simcoe, like you guys were joking about your cat piss beers.
Yeah, baby.
Simcoe has like two different sides to it, depending on whether or not you select early or late. And
Early edition or late edition. Yeah.
Well, no, when it's actually picked
Oh.
off the vine. Yeah, not
okay.
only in the brewing process itself, but like when you actually pull the hop off the vine.
Oh, wow.
you'll get
Okay.
almost two different Simcoes. So the first Simcoe, it's early Simcoe is more cat piss Simcoe versus like later Simcoe is more tropical passion fruit pineapple type Simcoe, which is more common in the hazy IPAs. So
I always noticed the
select
difference.
for cat piss Simcoe.
Oh, that's cat piss, love it. Yeah, I always saw like the Simcoe differences in like edition as well, like early edition, like in the brewing process versus late edition as well, like getting more like the cat piss in the boil versus like a dry hop kind of flavor of Simcoe.
For sure, yeah. So Simcoe is the main hop, and then it's Amarillo would probably be I can pull up the recipe, but I'm pretty sure the recipe structure is Simcoe primary, Amarillo secondary, and then Centennial and CTZ sort of act as like accent hops for the Simcoe and Amarillo to play nice together with. So like overtones and undertones. I really want the overtone, dank, pine, cat piss, kind of balanced with the Amarillo that has that like a little bit of bubble gum, I was gonna say a little bit of bubble gum, a little bit of citrus to it, and then Centennial and CTZ reassure. Centennial is like really pine and lemony, and then CTZ cuts right through, kind of like weed, dank, diesel, that sharp like across your palate flavor.
It's a really nice like symphony of flavors here. It's like you get it.
Oh, that was the douchiest thing I've ever heard, Tom. Jesus
Symphony
Christ.
Somebody text Ryan and tell him that you just named his next beer.
Yeah. I can't wait to get the text from Ryan in our group chat where he just goes,
yeah, I'm
sorry.
I'm really
I didn't mean to derail you.
You've
the wind right out of his sails.
Lord, as soon as you said symphony,
it tastes pretty good, Mike. Thanks. No, it's a really nice blend because you kind of get like this like mixture right up front, and then it gets very citrusy, and then you get that nice piney cat pissy on the back end. Like it's a lingering pine, which is kind of what you expect from a West Coast, like that piney resiny kind of flavor.
Yeah, dude, with tasting notes of like what you say, like diesel resin. Like this is why West Coast IPAs hit me at a crucial point in college. Like just having those descriptors where I'm like, well, hell yeah, like diesel, what resinous? Yeah, of course. Like West Coast IPAs, you know, when you started seeing like citrus dank, it was, I was hooked. And you're checking all the boxes with this. Like it's got that resin. I love the dry snap that a West Coast has too on the back end. When that pine kind of comes in and dries it out just a little bit at the end. I love it.
Guys,
For sure.
I once I said that symphony of flavor statement, I got an email. I'm a master cicerone now. So
Oh, okay.
Yeah, great. Yeah, no, so for me, Trail Marker was kind of going back to the drawing boards. I've spent the last 10 years of my career really focusing on hazy IPA or East Coast IPA, predating hazy IPA, and I kind of had to retrain myself on all right, this is what we want, this is what we want to do, and
Yeah.
it came back to water profile. I mean, on top of picking the right hops and getting them into the right additions, it was as simple as just figuring out, hazy IPA water profile and West Coast IPA water profile, not the same. But I just never
Okay.
really
Never-
had considered it.
That was like it was the last thing. Like you
It was
just
the last thing. I was like, dude, this should be a killer West Coast IPA. I was like, it's good, but it's not great. And then it was like, oh, fuck the water profile.
yeah, you guys had a solid lineup of West Coast in the last 4 or 5 years. Like we talked briefly earlier about Replenish was one that came out where I was like, oh hell yeah, West Coast IPA you guys are doing. That's great. Like you guys have had those one-off West Coasts here, there. And coming into this, now you have that staple flagship right now.
Yeah, Replenish did well for us. For me, it was kind of like a mid coast IPA. It never
I was
really
gonna say
satisfied.
a hybrid or something.
Yeah.
Close,
And that was sort of
close. Yeah.
Well, it's sort of what I wanted to do, but I was like, I don't know how to nobody. I mean, we would understand what mid coast meant, but nobody else really understands what mid coast means. So I was like, oh, I guess I'm calling it a West Coast IPA because it's clear. And yeah, I don't know. I'm stoked on Trail Marker. So.
Yeah. You've checked the boxes of what we look for in a West Coast IPA. Definitely.
I mean, yeah, this is a
symphony, Tom. Is that what you want to say?
I was going to say
flavors.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Tom. Say it. I won't say anything. I won't judge you.
It's definitely a wheelhouse West Coast IPA for us. What we judge in what that means to anybody, because who the fuck are we to judge anything? But what we look for, I guess, in a West
Tom,
Coast
you're
IPA,
the only Cicerone on this show. You're the only
now newly crowned Master Cicerone.
Yeah, as of 9/15 on February 17th.
Yeah, it is February, not January anymore.
It is February, not January.
But yeah, I mean, it's bright. It's got great clarity. It has that little bit of orange zest kind of flavor going with it. And then you get the piney resin on the back end, which is, I mean, what more can you really ask for from a West Coast? And it's what, 6.9%? Oh, 6.5%. Sorry.
6.5%.
Yeah.
I'm finding myself choosing when I'm sitting at the tasting room. I'm a lager guy by generally, but I've been finding myself choosing to drink Trail Marker if I'm sitting in my tasting room.
Yeah, those shifty beers are always going to take precedent, but sometimes, especially if we at work have a new West Coast, sometimes it just hits. You've been drinking the lagers after every shift, and I mean half the time it's not even your beer, it's High Life. But and then a West Coast sometimes just it hits, and you've kind of embodied that nostalgia with this one, where you take a sip of it and it's taking you back to that time that you had a Racer 5 and that way you felt about a piney IPA, after just soaking away all your shifts in lager. This kind of is a nice refreshing change of pace.
Well, it has a sister beer too at launch. We launched Trail Marker, I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago to full market distro. And Trail Marker has an Imperial Trail Marker, which is a West Coast Imperial IPA at 9.1%.
Man, you guys love your nines, man.
I gotta look. I'm not remembering off the top of my head. I feel like a jackass, but
yeah, the one thing I always loved about like my little beer store trips is like what 8% beer am I gonna get, or what 8+ beer am I gonna get from New Trail to keep in my fridge? Like you guys have those like the one-offs, like or the like the seasonal ones, especially in the winter when Goggles comes out. It's like my favorite design ever, and it's a beer that just kicks my ass every time.
Every time. Yeah, well, so now you can buy Imperial Trail Marker if you want a West Coast Imperial to kick your ass in a 19.2 ounce can.
Oh, you mean like pointing north? That like scarred me for life.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, jeez.
Pointing north.
Yeah.
Was that
That
a
was-
double IPA? I would
it
have
was a
guessed it
triple.
was a single. No, it
Yeah.
wasn't.
Wasn't it
Nah.
triple?
No, it was a double. It
I
was
thought all
definitely-
the pointing ones were triples. Was it just the one? Was it
It-
pointing south? Was it triple?
no pointing. Which one was that? I feel like the
Pointing
pointing
north was a double. It's
Yeah, pointing north
9%.
It was 9. Yeah, it was a 9%. I think I made the joke. I was calling it pointing to bed because like I would just
Pointing
have
to
like
bed.
one. I was like have
Oh,
one. I'm
fuck.
like,
So you're sort of right. Pointing south was a triple, I'd say. 10%.
Yeah, see,
Good
that one
Lord.
was
Yeah.
like 12%.
No, 10.1.
10%.
I'm assuming that we trust Untapped. A Pointing east was a double.
yeah,
And I want to say Pointing west was a west.
that was
Pointing
a
south
yeah.
was the first one released, right?
no
Pointing north was
North
Pointing
was
north
Pointing
was the
north.
first.
Yeah,
One of
Pointing
it, it
north
was.
the
I
first one.
remember pointing south. I remember the triple and being like, "What the fuck am I drinking?"
Yeah.
Welcome to me every time Orbit comes out. I clear my weekend calendar. I'm like, all right, well, Orbit hit distro. I guess I'm not doing anything on Sunday.
There was like there was
Yeah.
that certain point in time when everyone was releasing triple IPAs, and Dan was just like, "I got a beer for us." And I was like, "Oh God, no!"
Oh,
Oh,
it's a
you want to
bitch,
drink a
huh?
triple on a Monday and
Yeah.
watch
Yeah, it
YouTube
was-
videos on our stream?
it was like going to like it was going to a wing place, and like they're like, "Oh,
The Ghost
try
Pepper
the
Challenge.
it was like, yeah, try the genocide wing. And like you got to sign a waiver, and you're like, oh,
Jesus
okay.
Christ,
It's
genocide.
it tastes like pencil lead. Like cool. That
God.
was like every triple IPA that came out was just you joked about 1050, but like all these triple IPAs that came out, just they were high octane.
I've
was
done
like-
I've
yeah.
done a ton of New Trail Ghost Pepper challenges where I come back from the beer store. I go, "Yeah, look, I got this triple. Let's see. Let's see how long. Let's see how many episodes at Seinfeld it takes for me to go to bed."
Boy, do I have a style for you guys. Welcome to barley wine.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh yeah. Oh, we're
Ooh.
well acquainted
Yeah.
with barley wine.
Barley wine's one of those ones where you take a sip and you go, "Is this what's happening?"
That was our I went to Attic and they were like, "Well, look, we have a rotating tap of barley wine and Belgian quads."
Yeah, it was Belgian triple. It was a quad. No, it was a quad. They
Yeah.
were saying they have a it's the
Their clientele.
yeah, the neighborhood beer. Like people will
They-
just go
they
in
ask
and
for
drink
it.
quad the
Yeah.
whole time.
Jesus.
Yeah, Belgian quads. They always have a Belgian
mean-
quad on.
Bang for your buck, I suppose.
Yeah.
I guess that's what it is because I mean, because we were talking about the blue collar like crowd that they come in, come into different breweries in Philadelphia, and they're like, yeah, they just drink Belgians the whole time. I went, wait, what? Like it's not cream ale like every other like Philadelphia brewery.
Yeah.
Where you got like the guys who are getting off work, they're drinking cream ale. At Attic, they're drinking Belgian quads and barley wines.
But he's getting
So-
after it is really what's happening.
Yeah.
So I remembered now I think my first real you asked what my first experience in the West Coast IPA was. I think it was actually Weyerbacher Double Simcoe.
I was
Double
gonna say,
Simcoe.
yeah.
Double Simcoe. Hell yeah.
That one we went through. I mean, we were big Weyerbacher guys back. in
Dude,
the
I was
day.
gonna answer that for you when you were making your answer. I'm like, he's gonna bring up
Double-
Double Simcoe.
Double Simcoe, man. It was Double
Yeah.
Simcoe and Merry Monks. That was like our
Merry
fucking
Monks,
jam
yeah.
back in the day.
Shit, I
Yeah,
haven't thought about those beers in a long
Double
time.
Simcoe in the summer and holiday season when we'd come back from come home from college, we'd
banana
swing
esters
through.
all day.
Yeah, we would just drink Merry Monks because we were both home for Christmas. We're like, yeah, you want to get together, split a bottle of Merry Monks? We're like, hell yeah, dude, let's do it.
So I grew up in Downingtown. I don't know if I covered this the last time.
Yeah.
So like Victory was down the street from us basically. So I remember there being a lot of hop that my dad liked Hop Devil. I remember distinctly the first time I had Hop Wallop.
Yeah.
But the beer I think about all the time that equates to West Coast is this beer called Sub-Zero that was done at the Rock Bottom where I learned how to brew.
Oh,
And
yes.
it was I was gonna say it was an all Simcoe. We called it a West Coast IPA, but it was really like as things were shifting from West Coast to East Coast, like Brian was really more focusing on aroma, but still backing it up with all the flavor, the bitterness, and it wasn't necessarily like copper the way that West Coast IPAs are. It was more golden,
like old school New England, like that
old school, like East Coast IPA is what we.
Like I always think of like Lawson,
early
yeah.
Lawson's, early Alchemist. Like it was kind of like same time frame, but I remember that beer kind of shifting from being a little bit more bitter into less bitterness. So
the aroma driven is definitely like
aroma driven.
That's
Absolutely.
I remember that. Look, those first Alchemist and Lawson's when they came down, where it was like, all right, I got the bitterness factor, but what the hell is going on in the nose? This is blowing my mind here.
Yeah, I have like a really distinct memory, like when we would dry hop that beer, and we were on a 15 barrel system. I remember Brian being like, "Yeah, it's going to be crazy. We're going to put a little less than 1 pound per barrel in the dry hop," and I was like, "That's insane." And now like our dry hops are like 2.5, 3 pounds per barrel.
Was that the guy, Brian? He went to Sterling Pig. Was that?
Sterling Pig.
Yeah, Brian McConnell.
Yeah, Brian McConnell.
Yeah. I was just thinking about the other day. I was like, man, I remember from the first time we had you on, we talked about you kind of got your start right at Rock Bottom, which is crazy. Like a brewery in the King of Prussia Mall. Like,
absolutely. Dude, I back it up all the time. I think that like corporate brew pubs are some of the best training grounds for brewers. You think about like the Iron Hills, Rock Bottoms, Gordon Biersch's, like those they produce really great brewers. But we were talking about 2SP earlier. Bob Brower, Ruby, both came out of Iron Hill.
I forgot Ruby was Iron Hill. Yeah, I mean,
Ruby, and
and his spot in Philly is going off too. Like such a great atmosphere down there.
Yeah, no, I mean they produce great brewers all across the country.
Yeah, I mean, Brian went and started Sterling Pig, which we featured on here.
That was one of the early
never wanted to come on.
Hop Hog was, I think, that the one.
Oh, did Brian not come on?
No, he didn't come on. It was like one of the beers we featured. Like before we had the idea of like, let's have brewers come on and talk about their beer. We were just we were getting drunk and watching like Juggalo clown videos, and that was it.
That tracks,
guys. How have you kept up with Brian? Like, is he?
Yeah, Brian and I talk a couple times a year. Yeah, I mean, he's well. Yeah,
Sterling Pig's doing well.
Pig, yeah, that man knows how to make dark lager. I'll tell you what.
Ooh. See, that's a style I
Force
haven't
beer,
had
Baltic
from.
Porter?
I haven't had from Sterling, man. I like
what really.
I was a hophead like with Sterling man, like back then. So like I wasn't doing the dark beers at that point. So
he is arguably the most award-winning dark lager brewers in the country.
That's great.
I was gonna say one of our beers has a gold medal at GBF, but I want to say he's got north of 10 or 15 medals between World Beer Cup and GABF in either Schwarzbier or Baltic Porter.
That's awesome because the dark lagers have a special place in my heart. Like in the last I would say 7-8 years, like just having the dark, like the Czech dark lagers, the Schwarzbiers.
Jim Adams would correct you and say Schwarzbier.
Yeah, we had a podcast with him, and dude, he kept correcting us. We kept saying Schwarzbier. He's like, it's Schwarzbier. We're like,
Schwarzbier.
Okay, Jesus.
Schwarzbier.
Okay.
Did they? Yeah, it was just like under his breath Schwarzbier. Did they close the Westchester
The
location?
Westchester location. Yeah.
Oh,
So
is
it's
that close?
all. I
Okay.
think it's all out of media.
Yeah.
Yeah. So James from Beer Hall took over the space that he had in Westchester.
Oh, so Beer Thorndale. That was right. Beer Hall, right? That
Beer Hall would be Westchester out off of 100, and then he's got the downtown location, which used to be. It's not Sidebar. It's shit, what was the beer bar that used to be called? It's gonna bother me.
Yeah, I'm so far removed from my college days at Westchester. Like every single
Yeah.
bar, like I was at 15 North. That was
Oh yeah.
yeah, that was my haunt.
What was
Either way, it's now it's like an arcade craft beer bar. That's there,
Okay.
Gotcha,
where Sterling Pig Westchester used to be.
Dan, the beer we had on the Sterling Pig beer we had on the podcast was the Snuffler.
Oh, okay. It had a pig on it, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Andrew,
like
what
three
I
spots,
see
yeah.
I see your post there. What was the downtown location that the beer hall's in? What did that used to be called?
Oh, was that the old Note in Westchester?
Nah, it's not down. It's in between. It's like next to
What was-
Limoncello.
Oh, Limoncello. Oh, so well, Limoncello.
That was 15
that was
North.
that was 15 North. That was where
Yeah.
15 North was, right on Gay Street there.
Nah, it's on the side. It's on the in between Gay and High.
I say it
What
was,
was-
yeah.
Yeah. What was that other one, Dan? Do you remember the craft beer bar that we used to go to? Shit. What it was like fuck. It was like it was like a fish as their logo. Something like that.
Oh, was it the one that like we used to see the live music at? It was like the jazz. It was like
Yes.
the jazz bar.
Yeah.
Started with an F. It wasn't Fenarios. It was the other one. I forget what it was called.
Yeah, something like that. It was like anglerfish or some bullshit like that.
It definitely wasn't anglerfish. It wasn't like it definitely wasn't Salt Life.
Rail House?
Split rail.
Split
Rail. Yeah, Split Rail was the,
Yeah,
yeah, Split Rail.
that was the
yeah,
one that
yeah.
used to get Warwick there. What's his name? Ryan would drive down kegs this
Yeah. The name was escaping me.
We need to stop talking about Ryan. He's
well,
a
no, that
piece of
was
shit.
that was well, that was the only like I never got a chance to go down the Split Rail. I mean, that was like unfortunately after my time in Westchester, and Westchester apparently blew up to better bars than what I had. I was talking about Rex's the other day. Did you ever? You were a Downingtown guy. Did you ever experience Rex's?
Which one was Rex's?
That was on the north side of Westchester. They used to have concerts there and like live bands. It had like the chicken wire around the stage and shit.
Oh yeah. I know what you're talking about. No, I never experienced.
It was the one that like
There used-
like CKY.
used-
Like
Is that where
Bloodhound
Clutch,
Gang.
Clutch
Yeah.
shot that video there, right?
Clutch shot video there.
Yeah.
I saw the Mighty Boss Tones there.
Oh yeah.
Underage. It was great.
Yeah, there used to not too far away from there. There used to be like a coffee shop that used to sell Lucy cigarettes and you'd smoke inside there. I remember that in high school.
Man, Lucy's.
Yeah.
Did you guys see that Shane Gillis wore a Jake's bar shirt on Rogan the other week?
That's great.
Yeah.
That was one of I never got one up until like I was graduating Westchester. I had a bucket list of things I never did in Westchester before I graduated, and the top of the list was getting a Jake's Bar t-shirt. My entire like collegiate career there, I never bought the t-shirt. I've been there plenty of times. I just never got a shirt.
It still could be yours.
Yeah, one of our friends died there.
Oh my god.
No, not died, but like
but we had to
bury his limp body out
Jesus
of
Christ.
the yeah.
No, we it was like a scene out of a Vietnam movie where like
It was
we went
his
into
21st birthday.
Yeah, it was his 21st birthday. We lost him. We had no idea where he was. We went in the bathroom. He was hugging the toilet. We had to carry him out on our shoulders.
Oh,
Like, yeah, it was definitely like medic.
Yeah, those Fosters got to him.
Yeah, it was at the 25-cent beers, man.
It was Australian for death.
Yeah, the Fosters.
All right, Dan, you ready to switch over to the NA? And
Yeah, I was gonna say after we're talking about rampant collegiate alcoholism, let's switch to an NA beer.
yeah,
I was,
let's finish off with the NA. I got a couple questions for Mike after this, and then we'll wrap it up.
Yeah, I'll
So
do a
I'm gonna-
final
I'm
thought
gonna-
on the West Coast here while you go grab that if you need to.
I am actually gonna hit the loo real quick. I got one
Yeah.
right around the corner.
Yeah.
So
Please do.
be right back, guys. Yeah.
Yeah, no problem, man. I'm gonna do final thoughts on the West Coast here.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, we talked about it being just a complete nostalgia bomb during this whole conversation. I believe 100% this is.
I think he's going to just pee behind the fermenters.
Oh man, that'd be great.
There's a
It'd be great.
grain on the floor.
I was hoping he was still gonna wear his AirPods. Like who was
Oh, like Dave.
Yeah, when you remember when we had Dave Mitchell on, and
Yeah,
he went to the bathroom and it
he
was,
in his slop sink.
yeah, it was this well, no, like the first time, yeah, he
Brought us with him. Remember, he went to the bathroom. He put the
I thought the second time he brought it with him, and then the first time he just went in the next room, but he still had his AirPods or he still had his headphones on. We could just hear it the whole time.
That might have been. Oh no, you're right. I think you're right.
Yeah,
then he
and
brought us
we were
with him
sitting
and
here
put-
talking, and all we could hear was like the constant stream.
Yeah, he put the laptop down on the back of the toilet.
Yeah.
So yeah, Dan, final thoughts on the West Coast here.
Oh, yeah, like I was saying, complete nostalgia bomb right here. I mean, you're getting the piney resinous notes that you want in a true West Coast IPA. I love how light bodied it is. I mean, it is a crusher still. Like, and that's a tough thing with West Coast.
Dan, hold on.
Oh, did you think he was still?
I thought we were picking up a little bit.
No, I think he took off his AirPods.
Yeah, smart man. Smart guy.
Is
Smart guy leaving the AirPods behind.
Yeah, we were just talking. We had a guest one time, like, had to get up to use the bathroom, had their headphones on, and we were just listening to them piss the whole time. They got up, and like we had a blank screen where it was just me and Tom talking, and all of a sudden you just hear the constant stream.
Just,
No, I definitely thought about it.
I'm going to do the same. Dan, continue talking to Mike about the symphony of flavors of the West Coast.
Yeah, I
Did
was
you guys
just.
crackers? Do we already 3-2-1 it?
Oh no, he hasn't
No.
started the he hasn't started the NA yet. He has to go do a little tinkle time.
Yeah,
Make sure
I
you
can
keep
hit
your
the little
headphones
boys
there
one.
though. All right, don't take them
Yeah.
with us.
Well, he's
Tom
got
is
a
a-
microphone now, so unless he wants to, drag the microphone with him.
I know from being his best friend for over 20 years that he is a constant farter while peeing. So like it would have been like a constant stream and then like a
Aren't
The
we
guy-
all, though?
oh yeah. But yeah, I was just kind of talking with Tom while you were away about Trail Marker, and we discussed that it's a complete nostalgia bomb. Like this is what you want from a West Coast. When you see the words West Coast IPA on it, you already have judgment in your mind because you're like, well, is it a true West Coast?
Yeah, I spent a lot of time developing it with a few different departments. Like, for me, like I was talking earlier, I spent the last 10 years really focusing on hazy IPA, and not that I ever really lost my affinity for West Coast, but I stopped really drinking a lot of them. So I remember distinctly having a conversation with our sales manager, and we were tasting different West Coast and different iterations of what would eventually become Trail Marker. And he was like, "Yeah, close." I'm like, "Close? Like what?
Yeah.
What do you want? What
But
can I do to make this
exactly. But
better?"
that's how I feel about
And-
every West Coast because I
Yeah.
have such a judgment to them, and I need to
And-
judge them against like the heavies.
And that's when I eventually was like, "Fuck the water profile." And I was like, I just never really had considered it because I don't know. I've been focused on East Coast and hazy IPA for so long.
Yeah.
And I remember giving him the first one. I was like, "Dude, I think this is it. I think that's it." He cracks it open, he drinks it. He's like, "Yeah, this is it." I was like, "Yeah, got it."
Like the opposite of bagels. Like that West Coast water never makes a good bagel, but man, like West
Yeah.
Coast water makes a good West Coast
water
IPA.
Sure does.
All right, let's crack into this NA So we're going to be drinking an NA Broken Heels.
Speaking of judging, as I crack this open, like I am a Broken Heels stan. So this is
Yeah.
one where I wanted to try this. How does it measure up to the true?
Have you had one before this moment, or is this your first
No,
one?
this is the first one. Yeah.
Oh,
I
cool.
Yeah, this
made
is the
sure
first
this
NA.
entire 6-pack I was coming in like completely fresh.
Oh, nice.
So
Nice.
I was just drinking, you can't really see it, but I was drinking an NA at the golf simulator yesterday. So, or
Oh,
not
that
an
an
NA. No, this is not an NA. Sorry.
No, that's
An
a true
actual
that's a
broken,
true blue broken.
yeah, a
I thought
true
you
Broken
were about
Heels.
to show us a picture from the bathroom. So I was like, well, whatever.
I'm gonna send you this picture right now. I was drinking this right next to the urinal at the CBGB's.
All right, let's get a crack and get into this guy.
Oh yeah, and we'll talk about this
3,
here.
2, 1.
All right.
Damn, smells like a oh, hey guys, we can get best viewers on streamboo.com. Remove the space.
Oh, okay.
It's
Got
a
it.
bot trying to sell us things, sell us wares.
Aw, Twitch. That's lovely. So I guess tell us about why you guys decided to do Broken Heels as a NA.
I mean, for us, we've always wanted to make anything that anybody wants to drink, right? So like we, for us, I said earlier, we want to, follow trends and do whatever. And NA has been a growing category for the last few years, but like also our consumer base, our outdoor based people, trail runners, kayakers,
Yeah.
rock climbers, they're health conscious and they want an alternative to having Broken Heels, and NA Broken Heels was a no-brainer for us from there. So that is the why. The how becomes much more difficult, I think, because NA beer and beer are two totally different animals. You're talking about a food product versus an alcohol product, and to come up with a flavorful NA IPA is not the same as coming up with just like here's the next hazy IPA, here's the next West Coast, like
Yeah.
Trail Marker 24/7. The time that I took to develop those, I did way more research into NA because I'm not an NA consumer.
Yeah, that you're coming in just completely,
Completely blind. I don't know what they want. I don't know. I've never made the product. Like whereas like a Trail Marker, I've made a West Coast IPA before. Like I had the bones, I had the structure. I've never made NA before. So really fun project for me.
And it's crazy because you see like the NA. So Dan and I have a friend that is a recovering alcoholic, and he still likes to, like, when we've hung out, like Dan's bachelor party, we're all together.
Yeah.
Where everybody's drinking, he's drinking NA beers. From the time like when I was around him and he's getting NA beers, it was like NA Guinness, NA Heineken, like,
And
it
that
a
was it. The
it
big
was
ones.
yeah. I think he found like one or two. It was like, oh, there's this NA hazy IPA from like
Athletic, I think, was like when he
I
first
know it was
started
way
doing it.
before that. It was
Oh, was it before that?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yeah,
It was
he
some like random place from New York, but it was like there wasn't
there
anything.
weren't options for him.
Yeah. And now recently there's this uptick in NA beer options from these craft breweries. And I think we've been talking for the past couple weeks about these new trends in alcohol in general, I guess. It
Craft beer
obviously
adjacent trends.
reflects against craft beer, where a lot of these younger drinkers, the Zoomers, the
Gen
younger
Z.
generations that are coming into drinking age are leaning more towards like RTDs or NA, like seltzers, more what they view as more health conscious.
Yeah.
Yeah, less
Mhm.
alcohol, not trying to get, blackout drunk all the time. You see the market kind of shifting that direction. Is that something that went into putting this Broken Heels NA into your rotation?
Yeah, I mean, I think we're all really interested to figure out what Gen Z is going to drink, and inadvertently I followed alcohol trends over the last 10, 15 years of my career. Like we all would remember when Pinnacle went from being Pinnacle vodka to Marshmallow Swedish Fish,
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
whatever
Oh yeah. Oh
whatever
yeah.
flavor, and not too shortly after that would have been Milkshake IPA, right? Like that really
Ah yeah.
exploratory quote unquote
Yeah.
flavor profile. So like for us to see NA as a rising trend for what Zoomers may be interested in, it was a no brainer for us to move that way. Now, do I think NA or do Zoomers necessarily want NA IPA? I'm not sure, but I know that our clientele does. The
Yeah, it's
trail
interesting.
runners, the
Yeah, like you said,
and the
those health
kayakers.
conscious, people. And it's funny because the guys I hang out with, like some competitive mountain bikers, like Broken Heels is their like that and Crisp are their official after like
Sure,
race
yeah.
beers.
So I mean,
And I told them we were doing this, and they were like, "Okay, I'm interested. I want to hear this now. I want to hear like what the NA has to offer."
yeah. So for me, it was about trying to get as close to making Broken Heels an NA product. Like you're never going to get the same, dollar for dollar, the same flavor by making an NA versus the regular beer, specifically an IPA, because the alcohol has so much texture and I've been calling it solubility. Like when I think about the hop dose rate that you would use into a hazy IPA versus what you would use in an NA beer, they're not even comparable. I can't hop hop an NA beer the same way that I would hop an alcohol based IPA, because it just doesn't have it doesn't soak it up, it doesn't balance it. So it was another going back to the drawing board. It's like, well, shit, I got to figure this out now.
So I'm curious as to like where the kind of the need, because I feel like these are not like necessarily health conscious. If you're like looking at like calories and sugar, it's still kind of the same composition. Am I
It's
wrong
similar to
here?
drinking like a light beer
Okay.
versus an IPA. My marketing team will kill me for not knowing it off the top of my head, but like I want to say the calorie count on NA Broken Heels is sub 100, maybe even sub
Oh wow. Okay.
90.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean it's statistically significantly lower than drinking a hazy IPA, but I would say based on my like random polling of people that I know that drink NA beer that are health conscious, they know that drinking an NA beer is not as health conscious as drinking club soda or water or
Mm.
iced tea or any of those other substitutes that you might use um, for alcohol. Like regular,
I wonder how much of the drinkers for this are like Dan and I, for example, where we really dove into craft beer during the pandemic, and did we put on a few more pounds than
A few
anticipated?
LBs. Yeah.
Sure. Sure. You still want that like that flavor, and we've dabbled into like the hop teas,
Mhm.
which are great because you still get like that flavor of like the hazy IPA, but you're getting it at a lower calorie, lower sugar.
Oh yeah.
I think that might be where it is, where it's like the people that got into like the haze craze, and it's like, well, I can't drink hazy IPAs all the time. Like that's just insanity. We don't have the ability to work out as much as to burn all of these calories off. But I still like the flavor. This is a great option.
Oh,
My
absolutely.
my best friend is a NA drinker. Not he drinks beer and alcohol regularly as well. But he said to me, because I was talking to him the other day, I was like, well, why do you choose to drink NA? He goes, I'm using them as pace beers at this point because we're in our mid to late 30s. He's like, I'm doing 2 beers in NA and then I'm going back to having 2 beers. And I was like, oh, okay, that's interesting. Like, for somebody that's in the alcohol industry, like I just drink at the pace that I want to drink at because it's a part of my everyday life. But I can see how somebody that doesn't necessarily drink as much as me would use it to not be fucking hungover the next day. Like, all right, I'll have 2 beers, and then I'll have an NA, and then I'll have another 2 beers. And
I think
the social interaction of it.
I think, and what like goes into it, and speaking from like a personal perspective, like I have, and Dan, I'm sure you can attest to this as well. I've significantly cut back on my beer drinking, like especially like, during the week. Like
absolutely.
I'm not drinking beers, but there are times when I'm like, man, sitting back watching a show or watching a sporting event, and I'm like, man, I really want a beer, and come in, grab a beer. This is a great substitute. Like I can drink this, get that experience, like get that hop flavor,
especially as a hop head too. Like this is something where like I appreciate like the hoppy beers on like flavor alone. Like, I wasn't drinking them because they were a higher ABV than lagers. Like I just enjoyed the hop flavor to them.
Exactly. That's why, you switch to like, I went through a period where I was drinking a lot of hop tea because I liked the citra flavor. I like the taste of it.
Yeah. Like I've significantly cut back from like a couple of years ago when I was just killing this many broken heels after a snowboard session. Like I was trying to find the video. I think we went to Jack Frost one time and they had an ice storm. Like it was snowing where we were, and we're like, hell yeah, let's go up to Jack Frost. And they had sleet the whole time. We took one run and we went, you just want to go to the bar? And we just hung out and drank like, some broken heels.
That fresh northeastern Pennsylvania corduroy.
That East Coast excellence right there.
Yeah. Yeah, so I don't know. NA Broken Heels kind of hits both marks. It has that bitter backbone that you're going to want in an IPA. It has the aroma. It's over hopped comparatively. I remember the first time that I gave it to somebody that was pretty familiar with NA beer, NA IPA. They're like, this smells like nothing I've ever smelled before in an NA IPA. It actually has that citrus and pine aroma that you get in an IPA versus like that muted hop flavor. And it still has that like full mouthfeel like you would get in IPA.
I was actually going to highlight that as I was drinking it here. I'm like, man, this like it, you hit the mouthfeel part of like Broken Heels, that full bodied like flavor that you get from a true Broken Heels right there, and like right off the bat. And I was really impressed by that. I thought it was going to be like overly like thinner or something, like something was going to be like, it was just going to be light and missing that like full body you get from Broken Heels, but you captured the body in it. And that's what I like about it.
Yeah, no, I over accentuated some of that when I was thinking about the hops. Like I was at one point over accentuating hops. I had to pull that recipe, part of the recipe back, but then I had to over accentuate in order to get the mouthfeel. It's like there's a weird dichotomy that I had to figure out to get this beer to taste the way it does.
Yeah, I think like for Dan and I, especially like where we're both dads, it's like it's something nice to have where I want to crack a beer, but I don't want to get any kind of buzz, around the kid. I don't want to be, I don't want to wait until after they go to bed to drink a beer, because then I'm just going to bed. It's nice to have that. Like it's also like the ritual of just like cracking a beer, pouring it in a glass. Like you get that hop flavor. I think it definitely ticks a lot of boxes.
Yeah, I enjoy it. I kind of agree with what you say, Tom. Like, I'm not really looking to catch a buzz in front of the little one unless it is Christmas and I'm drinking a coffee stout in my mug while they're opening presents. Like, yeah, we've got 5-6 hours of like playtime going through on Christmas Day, I'm gonna have a Imperial Coffee Stout. I'm gonna crack into the wax a little bit. I'm gonna relax.
Sure. I'm gonna cut some wax during that. But
yeah, exactly. But like you said, you're watching a football game or a Phillies game, and maybe you have one beer, but you're like, yeah, I could have another. I don't want to catch a buzz, but like I want to have it something in between. That's where like I see a lot of these breweries now doing like a hop water in between like beers.
Mhm.
Like they'll have like one on draft where they're conditioning like just carbonated water with a little Citra, a little Simcoe or something like that.
Yep.
And honestly, it's a nice little in between every now and then.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I hope that this becomes the in-between for some people.
So
And it's going well.
Yeah.
I mean, as long as it's selling, like, sure, why not, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, I hate that I left this till the end of the episode, but I mean, you guys kind of stand out, right? You're a single location in Williamsport, Pennsylvania. We've seen a lot of breweries that expand and then they fail. You guys are brewing a shit ton of beer. You're distributing all over the state. Like, what do you think you're doing right that other breweries may not be doing?
I think it's the basics. I think it's like it's as simple as just like good beer, good message, good marketing, and good people. Like I try to treat my team here like the way that I would have wanted to be treated, and they treat me the way that I expect to be treated. They take ownership in the beer. I from early days here, I tried to shift the verbiage from when you pull somebody in from the outside. They're like, you do it this way and I did it that way. It's like, no. We do it. It's our beer. It's we.
Yes.
It's
It's a team effort. Like you're bringing in different ideas.
Well, I might be the face at times for the company. Like it's just as much yours as it is mine. Like, we're going to do it my way, but like, tell me if you think you have a better way, and we'll sit down and I'll have that conversation and we'll try to figure out if maybe you do have a better way to do things. Like I'm curious.
That's awesome.
Curious.
Yeah. And like, speaking of the teams and everything, I just want to, like, I'd be remiss if I didn't like shout out Ron over there at New Trail.
Ron, I walked in the brewery. He's like, aren't you getting on that podcast later? I was like, yeah, how do you know that? He's like, I saw
my boy Ron. He's coming to
on the podcast.
Yeah, he's been on the podcast. Yeah, great guy.
Old Redbeard.
Yeah, I was like, like you said, like, you saved this question for the end.
You missed him like maybe by 15 minutes. Like by the time that you sent me this link, he like walked right in front of me 15 minutes. Oh man, before.
Yeah. I thought about it in my head. I'm like, I would be remiss if I didn't mention or shout out Ron for this. Like he is a great dude. Like his musical taste and like approach to beer and his opinion on beer, like him and I, like we see eye to eye on a lot. And he's
another guy that you Iron Hill.
Yeah, another Iron Hill brewer. Yeah. He didn't cut his teeth at Iron Hill though. He came most recently from Iron Hill.
Yeah, remember he was on a cruise ship brewing.
He was on a cruise ship. Yeah.
Craziest backstory I've ever
heard. My production
brewer.
manager is an Iron Hill guy. I don't know that I have anybody else from a corporate background aside from those two guys.
But so you like New Trail, wildly successful, wildly popular in the space. You're seeing like all these other breweries expanding, opening up multiple locations, tap rooms around. What goes through your mind where you're like, nah, we're good at Williamsport. Us and Bullfrog, we're cool.
There's actually 7 breweries in our area, I'd say within 15 minutes of here.
It's crazy like how much it's blown up. Like I used to go camping up there every year up in Slate Run, and there was like this tiny bed and breakfast where I first was introduced to New Trail. My very first time having them was up there, and like since then, like it was just you guys and Bullfrog, and then you said 7?
I think it's 7.
Wow.
It's between 5 and 7. I don't necessarily want to count it out right now, but it's somewhere. It's more than it's more than the two of us.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. We focused on a wholesale model pretty early on into the business model.
Yep.
That's been the goal of the company. I mean, we've far exceeded what we thought we would do in the first 5 to 10 years of the company, but yeah, we've been approached a handful of times for opportunities for other retail locations, and
Yeah.
my business partners have a background in restaurants and hospitality, and they basically said, like, if I never had another dishwasher in my life, I think I'd be happy, and that's not.
Yeah, man.
They weren't lying. Yeah, so I don't know. Like I would love to open another retail location at some point, but like the growth of the company and the wholesale has been the focus, and I just can't take my eyes off that right now.
Yeah. It's okay, man. Just keep doing your trailers like at Bear
Yeah.
Creek Mountain Resort in Macungie, Pennsylvania.
Yeah. Yeah. I think
Wow.
I had a post last year of Crisp on the hill there.
Oh yeah, man. That's
Yeah.
that's my spot. That
Bear
and Trails
Creek
End.
was my snowboarding spots where I snowboarded all through high school.
Dude, that's where I cut my teeth, man. That's my
Yeah.
spot.
Yeah.
But that, I mean, it's cool. Like, you know, seeing like you guys, God, I hate to go back to it. Warwick Farms,
Symphony of
like,
oh, thanks.
You're just gonna stroke Ryan's ego some more. Let's give it to him.
It's the worst thing in the world, but
Buck and Farkas.
but like seeing successful breweries be like, "No, we're good. We're good at this location. We're succeeding where we're at. We don't need to." And you see like these other breweries that have kind of failed, kind of burnt out, that expanded too quickly, got too big for their britches. You guys kind of taking on like the Trogs model. Like Trogs just was like, one location, we're doing it, cool.
Yeah, you know, like I said, it's just been keeping my eye on the ball, right? Like, I'd love to have more retail locations. They're really profitable if you can do them right. But like, we're growing this side of the business, and it's a much more difficult path. You know,
Yeah, if
like,
it ain't broke, don't fix it, man. You guys
Right.
are
Yeah.
If it ain't broken
you know,
heels,
a little-
won't fix it.
I was gonna say a little Robert Frost, right? Like the road less traveled, the path less taken.
Ooh, all right. Little
right? Like,
new trail references.
yeah.
Wow.
Like, you know, that we know that we sort of have lightning in a bottle, like that there's not too many breweries that
Yeah.
have grown to this point as quick as we have in the wholesale model, and we're continuing to grow year over year, and we want to continue to do that, right? So
That's what captured me to New Trail. It like right off the bat was like you guys had this wholesale model where I fell in love with you guys locally, and then I was at home and finding you guys. I'm like, this is great. Like I don't need like a new trail like tap room down here. Like I can have that New Trail at home kind of like vibe. And you were my first like introduction into that like wholesale model outside of like those legacy brands like Trogs and Victory.
Sure. John Trogner said something to me early here. I kept saying to him, like, my local market, like as we're having a conversation, and he like stops me and goes, hey, like, what do you mean by your local market? I was like, oh, like Lycoming County and the surrounding counties. He's like, that's cool. Like when we talk about the local market, we think like in a radius, not necessarily by county line. And I was like, oh, interesting. Like it just like, I was like, click, like, oh, I can make more people local to me without even, considering what we would consider hyper local, right? And that was just like an eye-opening moment for me.
Well, he sets up his yurt and measures everything by how the crow flies.
Right.
That, while he's got his Dutch oven on the fire, he's measuring a radius by he has a falconer
foraging for mushrooms.
John is like one of the nicest people I know. I have nothing but nice things to say about John.
I want to go camping with the man. I've seen him make some killer stuff in some of the videos where he's at the campfire. I'm like, man, I kind of want to have whatever's in that Dutch oven right now.
He is a nerd. He is a nerd about everything, and I fucking love that. It's super cool.
you look at him and you're like, man, this guy's so smart about beer. And then you look and he's taking Ryan under his wings, and you're like, man, he can't be that smart.
Yeah, his choice.
So
We're gonna have a
real
drinking game on this podcast where every time
Yeah.
we bring up Ryan.
Well, I'm gonna bring it up again. Who's gonna make the road less traveled beer first? New Trail or Warwick?
It's gotta be Ryan. It's gotta be him. A symphony of flavors and a road less
Yeah.
traveled. Maybe I'll get him
No,
to,
like I
do
don't
it
think
as a
Ryan's smart enough for that. I
A
think he thinks
collab.
Robert Frost was like a first baseman for the Expos. Like he doesn't know who Robert Frost is.
I bet he and I what we'll do is we'll just do like a home and away. I'll do a road less traveled and he'll do a symphony of flavors.
Yeah, there you go.
Dan and I will be sitting here like, God damn it, he got the collab before we did.
You guys can come up and hang out when we do it.
Yeah, the collab.
Yeah. It's really just us going to dive bars and eating wings and drinking. So
Yeah.
Oh man, there's some fun bars up there.
sure is.
All right, let's wrap this up. Dan, final thoughts on the NA?
I like it. I think it like you capture the mouthfeel and you capture a hop flavor. It is definitely unique to Broken Heels. I wouldn't say like you said, it's not an apples to apples, but it is still a pleasure to drink. I've been enjoying it here the entire time, and I think hop heads, when they're looking for like a more health conscious variety in between beers, I would go with this 100% over like a hop water or a hop tea.
Yeah, I could definitely see myself throwing like a 6-pack of this in my fridge, just keeping it on hand. Like, man, I got the urge to have an IPA, but I don't want to get any kind of buzz going. Drink this while I'm cooking dinner, or getting ready to put the kid to bed. It's a great option there, right? I think, like you said, Dan, it's not apples to apples, but it's as close as you're going to get.
And it's still enjoyable. Like it's
Wonderful, yeah.
enjoyable. Like
Yeah.
other NA beers where I'm just like, they just fall flat. Like this tastes like a beer.
Mhm.
Enjoys it. Like the full hop flavor, the mouthfeel, the body on this, like it's nice and soft. Like,
Mouthfeel.
man, I hate using your terms. Like Tom, you're the mouthfeel king here. You
I
and your
am.
symphony of flavors.
my Garrett Oliver terms.
Yeah, Gary. Yeah. He's got a Garrett Oliver like novel, just like sitting here. He's like, I'm just gonna use this one.
Also another very nice human being.
Yeah, he seems like the coolest dude.
He is really cool.
We've tried to
He's
get him
really
on
cool.
so many times. We're like, man, do we have to just kidnap you? Like, what do we got to do? Come on the podcast.
Dude, I was at Workhorse over the weekend. Some guy came in with like a Garrett Oliver hat, and I almost went up to him and like, "Are you Garrett? Are you Garrett?"
That's when you just got to do the nonchalant, like, Garrett.
Yeah, exactly.
See if
He was wearing that like barbershop quartet hat that Garrett Oliver always wears, and I'm like, I don't know. He might have just finished a quartet, or he is actually Garrett Oliver. I'll just say Garrett.
But yeah, let's wrap this thing up. Mike, do you want to plug like a website, anything? How are we getting this in our fridges?
Well, you can find where to find it on our website, which would be newtrailbrewing.com under the beer finder. Obviously, if you don't follow us on social media, I'd love for you to do that. It's at New Trail Brewing most places. Yeah, man, I don't know. I'm super stoked on everything we're doing this year. It's a double down into IPAs, NA Broken Heels, 24/7 Trail Marker, Imperial Trail Marker, Expedition Pack coming back. Man, like I don't know. It's gonna be a fun year, dude. It's gonna be a fun year.
Yeah, I'm excited for the announcements. Of who you guys are gonna have on it. Just make sure you keep that Warwick guy out of that. I'm not looking to point north anytime soon.
I got some big collabs coming up, both home and away. We've been doing some with Dewey.
Yeah, I had the most recent one you did with Dewey. It was good.
Yeah, other halves coming back with a couple. I think they're releasing one here shortly, and then we'll release one sometime in the summer. I'm pretty sure. Dancing Gnome, we've got a collab coming up with those guys. Yeah, just a whole bunch of stuff going on.
That's awesome.
Yeah, great to hear. Mike, thank you for your time. Thanks for hopping on with us, entertaining us, sharing your beer with us. Yeah, guys, check out New Trail, like you said, at New Trail on pretty much everything.
At New Trail Brewing, yep.
New Trail Brewing. Yeah, it's on their cans, I think, right?
Is it?
It is. It's
right.
on the side of the cans.
It's right there, dog.
Hey,
NewTrailBrewing.com at New Trail Brewing. Yeah.
Look at marketing doing their job again.
Check out your local distributors, local giants.
Yeah. Anytime the marketing
Giants,
department wants to send us crisp,
Wegmans,
you know, just feel free.
Yeah, I mean, we've got
anytime, guys.
We've got your marketing's email now. We will be bothering you.
I have a stack of stickers I still give out to my friends all the time.
Oh my god, we have
you gave us like it was insane.
I did
stacks of
no, the marketing department
yeah.
before that.
Oh, okay.
When we got that case of crisp, it was like instead of packing peanuts, it was
reams.
just New Trail stickers.
reams of
Did you get
crisps.
Like I'm not even lying.
Did you get the Christopher P ones, the can
Yeah.
guy?
Yes.
Yeah, we got the
Yeah,
dude.
yeah,
We
got this guy
hundreds.
Yeah.
So many.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
But yeah, check them
I
out.
think grab a handful right now. Actually, they're right next to me.
At New Trail Brewing. I mean, we don't need to tell any of our listeners. You guys know who they are. Go check them out. Their new offerings. Be on the lookout for a 15-pack of 24/7.
24/7. That's one I'm
Early April.
Hugely stoked on for that. When you guys do that 15-pack in March, I'll be in line at Limerick Beverage for that bad boy.
Hell yeah.
I need to tell my country club to stock up on this 24/7. Need this for the golf year. But yeah, check them all out, guys. We will be back next week. 250, Dan, next week. Our bicentennial.
Oh man.
Yeah.
We'll have to go all out.
Yeah.
If
We
by
have
all
nothing,
out. We're
literally have
gonna
nothing
we're gonna
planned.
plan this like 2 days in advance.
Yeah.
That's what we
100%. All right, guys. We will check you next week. It's been Best Veterans Podcast, episode 249.
We're out.
See you.
All right, bye recording.
By recording. We're done recording audio and we're going to switch off stream, guys. Thank you guys for joining us on the stream. All of you who joined. I don't think your 8-year-old stepson, son.
No, he's been in bed for a while.
Yeah.
Step.
Yeah. Not with us anymore.
He was very, very, very happy. So.
Yeah. Shout out Lincoln
Awesome.
for being on with us and contributing. But yeah, we'll catch you all next week. See you.